Couple minutes late. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jillian Graber, Executive Director of Protect PT, and we are here with Mary and Chad today. Chad is our environmental scientist, and Mary is our outreach assistant. So thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys. And we are going to talk about radon and learn more about what Chad has been working on these last couple months. So go ahead and take it away, Chad.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Yeah, as she said, my name's Chad. I'm the environmental scientist here at Protect PT. And so this month we just launched our program. We call it RAMP, for Radon Air Monitoring Program. It's a little catchy name. So yeah, we're here today to talk about radon and kind of answer some questions that have already been given from people, and hopefully this is a useful tool in the future for others who are participating in our studies.
And I want to make sure really quick before we start, if you have comments or have questions and you're watching us on Facebook, you can go ahead and put your comments in there. We should be able to see them and pop them up on the screen, okay? So you can ask questions live if you have them. And we also have a couple participants off screen. So if you'd like to chat, you can go ahead and hit the chat button and chat your questions that way too. So we can get questions a couple different ways. And so this kind of goes over who we are. I'll go ahead and do this slide, Chad. So has all of our contact information on here, but essentially Protect PT. PT stands for Penn Trafford because that's where we're located. But we are a nonprofit serving Westmoreland and Allegheny counties, and we're really focused on ensuring residents' safety, security, and quality of life by engaging in education and advocacy to protect economic, environmental, and legal rights for people in those counties. And thanks so much for joining us today. We are streaming on Facebook Live, so if you want to turn off your camera, you can just by clicking the onto the camera and say stop video if you'd like to be off of camera. So go ahead and click to the next screen, Chad, and I'm going to let you take it over from here.
All right, sounds good. So the question of the night here is what is radon? The radon is an invisible gas. It's odorless. It's formed from uranium decay and is a naturally occurring substance in rocks and in the soil. So it rises to the surface and is released in the air from the ground. So the risk of radon can be expedited when there are cracks in the ground through natural causes or through human activity. And so our program, our radon monitoring program, is a way to raise awareness about the radon and the health risks that it poses, and also, it's able to tell you what your level of radon is in your home. So some more facts here about radon. About 1 in 15 homes have high levels of radon. Pennsylvania, our state here, is one of the highest levels of radon in the entire world. And it's mainly due to the geologic formation beneath our state. It's estimated that 21,000 people are killed every year from radon-induced lung cancer, and radon-induced lung cancer is the number one cause of lung cancer among non-smokers in the U.S. is from radon gas. So it definitely poses a very high health risk here. So you may wonder, how does radon actually get into your house? Well, as we kind of mentioned already, it rises up through the ground, through any cracks and crevices, and when your house is built, sometimes there's cracks in the floor surface or in a crawl space, floor wall joints, there's gaps. It can enter through a sump pump or through a shower water well. And obviously, some of this disturbance of the earth could cause additional cracks in the ground, and a crack to maybe your foundation or something like that could lead to another entry point of radon into your home. So another big factor here on radon levels is weather, actually. So there's a few different weather events that can cause radon levels to rise. One thing is rain or storm events. When low pressure systems roll in, they typically bring rain, and that saturates the soil. And in turn, then with the soil being saturated, it's more compact and dense, and there's not as many gaps in the soil itself for the radon to escape through. So it kind of tends to go to the path of least resistance, which then would be your home. It's the place in the ground that there's easily accessible cracks, crevices for it to get into, and it enters your home and causes the radon levels to rise. Also, the winter, cold time of year. With the ground being frozen, more compact, similar thing. Your home is the easiest path for radon to escape. High winds are another situation, or weather condition. There's a chance that high winds can push the radon out of your home, but most likely it creates kind of like a vacuum effect where it actually will suck up the radon into your home. Because the pressure in your house will be lower, and thus the radon levels will, or the radon will, go towards that in like a vacuum sense. So obviously, we want you to be able to protect yourself from radon. Here's a little image you can see of radon gas inside of a cloud chamber. All right. So, how does this affect your family, and what is the measurable risk? Well, as I mentioned previously, lung cancer is one of the biggest potential risks you can have here with radon. It's usually not discovered until its later stages, and radon-induced lung cancer kills an estimated 21,000 people per year. And as mentioned before, failure through your foundation becomes trapped and accumulates over time. And then obviously, as we mentioned before too, it's estimated that at least 1 out of every 15 homes have high levels of radon. And radon levels could be high in, say, my house and my neighbor's house, they could be lower. It's really a house-to-house difference, or a house-to-house difference. So it's in the air you breathe. And as we said before too, Pennsylvania is estimated to have some of the highest radon levels in the entire world. Estimated that 40% of Pennsylvania homes have radon levels that are above the EPA's, which is Environmental Protection Agency, action guideline of 4.0 picocuries per liter. There's the fancy science term there for radon levels. A picocurie is a unit of measurement for the rate of radon's radioactive decay over time. So, knowing that number of 4.0, you can see that 7.0 is the average radon level in basements in Pennsylvania. And on the first floor, it's 3.5. The EPA, they recommend advising homeowners to mitigate radon at 4.0. However, it's recommended to take action for 2.0 to 4.0 because, as science has supported here, there's not truly a safe level of radon to remain in a building. Any long-term exposure to radon is what increases your risk of lung cancer. So how do we test for radon? Well, the first step to figure out is, if radon's a problem, is to test for it. That's where our monitors come in. As we mentioned before here, weather, temperature, barometric pressure are all different things that affect radon levels. And so it is recommended it's best to test in the winter months because that's when radon levels are typically the highest. So that's when you would for sure know if there's a problem. However, we started testing this month, and there's already been a couple folks that we have found that have high levels of radon right now, and they're already taking action with some mitigators to get systems put in their home to get the levels lower, because if the levels are high now, the winter time could come around and maybe even higher. That pose even more of a risk. So, like I said, we can do short-term radon tests for anywhere from a few days up to a couple months with our monitors, and they can be short-term like that because if we have good weather conditions and we're seeing after a week or 2 weeks that radon levels are consistently high, we know radon's a problem then. And sometimes longer-term studies are needed to really understand if radon is a problem in your home. If there's not an initial glaring large number of radon in your home. And yes, so we offer free radon testing for residents in Allegheny and Westmoreland counties. So right here we have a little testimonial. I'll read it here for you. After a month of using a monitor, I found that radon levels in my house were far above the WHO and EPA action levels. I'm so glad I found out and was able to install a mitigation system to take action and keep my family safe. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, we call our program RAMP, which stands for Radon Air Monitoring Program. You can see here in the picture, this is our little monitors that we got from EcoSense. They're called EcoCubes. And you can see right here on the cell phone, that through your smartphone app, that is exactly how we're able to see real-time radon levels in your house. We have our account set up where we can monitor all of our monitors at once. And, if you're one of our participants in our study, you are given access to your monitor so you can see it at the same time that we're seeing it. So the first step for our in-home testing is to obviously contact our organization and our environmental science team, which would be contacting me. And we'll set up the radon monitor in the lowest livable level in your house, which is usually the basement. So we say lowest livable level because sometimes there's instances where your lowest level might just be a storage space or the garage or somewhere where you don't actually spend time. So in that instance, we want to go one level up where you're actually spending most of your time to find out, what the levels of radon are there at that level of your home, because that's where you'd be most, where you have the prolonged exposure potentially. And as we said, the study can run from anywhere to 7 to 90 days, depending on initial readings and your needs. Each study is going to be different depending on each house because, as you mentioned before, each house is completely different from the next house we get to. To sign up for our RAMP program or for more information, you can give us a call. Our phone number is listed there. Or you can visit our website. We have a whole one page dedicated to radon. And there's also a link on the webpage where you can sign up for the radon monitoring if you don't like the call and prefer to do stuff virtually. So, talking about where we actually place this stuff. As mentioned, we go at the lowest livable level. So I would be around. I typically sometimes have my helper, Mary Grace, come help set up the radon monitors. So we don't place it in a closet or stairway, hallway, crawl space, anything like that that's like an enclosed area, because that won't give us very accurate readings of radon. kitchen, bathroom, laundry room, furnace room, stuff like that too, where there's like additional, like the furnace running, or you're cooking in the kitchen or bathroom vents. Those could give inaccurate readings to the radon monitor. There would be, there could be potentially higher numbers or potentially lower numbers in some of these areas, depending on certain conditions. There's plenty of variables that go into radon levels. So the point of our study is to get the most accurate reading to know if radon is truly a problem. So that's why it should be lowest level living, like we said. It wants to be at least 20 inches off the ground, but a foot below the ceiling, a foot away from any exterior walls, and you want it to be at least 3 feet away from any like exterior wall with an opening, like a window or a door to your basement, if it's a walkout basement, something like that. And you want to have space around it, or at least 4 inches, so there's not any blocking of airflow, so the air can get in freely to it, and we can get accurate numbers. And then, as mentioned, why you may not want it in a furnace room or something like that. You don't want it near any vents, drafts, heat, humidity, anything that could sway the numbers. We're really looking here for the most accurate reading we can get. And so when we are doing our studies, we actually recommend a closed house conditions, which is to mean, normal entry and exit through your doors. Your house is obviously expected, but, we would ask that, maybe you don't run a fan as much in that room. You keep the windows closed. If you have the option for your air conditioning, you keep it to interior circulation instead of, venting out into the air. All these things will give us the most accurate reading because, as you may figure, radon levels you can lower radon levels in your home by opening your windows, allowing more airflow, having more circulation in your house. So we don't want to have a study and, you have your windows open the whole time and we see radon levels aren't that bad. And actually, if you would have your windows closed, maybe they'd be above that 4.0 and you might want to take action. So we're really looking to get the most accurate results that we possibly can. So then the question is, what happens if I have high levels of radon? Well, we'll be able to provide you with resources on how you can get a mitigation system in your home and discuss a plan for follow-up monitoring to ensure that the mitigation system is actually working and you can hopefully see low numbers below 1. So yes, obviously here's my contact information, my email address. So again, I'm the one to contact if you're interested in having a radon study. So, and if you're already signed up for a radon study, or even if you already know you have high radon levels from something else, maybe from buying or selling the real estate transactions, we would be able to still provide you with some great information on radon mitigation. So the mitigation itself. So if you are a member of Protect PT, we do have a few discount codes set up with some professional mitigators, certified mitigators here in the state. So this is an encouragement to become a member of Protect PT because membership has its benefits with us. So through this process, like I said, there's a few that we recommend, but the DGP has, in the link below, is a whole list of every certified remediation or mitigation expert for Pennsylvania. We recommend, schedule an appointment to get a quote from one or more different mitigators to see the cost difference between them. I know I was speaking with one mitigator today, and he said that his fan systems run on average from $1,000 to $1,200. Now, again, that's just one mitigator. Some could maybe be a little bit lower. Some could maybe be a little bit higher. That's why, that's why we're recommending a few different places. We don't want to recommend just one and, there'd be better options out there for you. And yeah, so they install the mitigation system to protect your family from this dangerous gas. And the picture here is kind of an idea of what they do. So they would come in and drill a little hole or a little well underneath your house through the basement, and that would be piped. That hole would they'd run a vent pipe out and out your house, and then there'd be a little fan system outside that would shoot the or vent the radon out at roof level is how they vent it out. So it would run up the side of your house to your gutters approximately. And these systems typically are, they have a power switch, but it's obviously recommended to keep it on at all times because that's how you keep the radon levels low. And again, here's a plug to please become a member of our Protect PT to continue supporting our program so we can get some additional funding to get more monitors so we can do more studies in the area and help more people out. All right, so right here is a link to our survey here about our presentation tonight, and a link also to sign up for a radon study. So at this time, we'll take some questions.
Great. And we already have our first question, and it's from Darlene. She asks, can the radon vary from year to year? If it does, how often should testing be done? I think that's a great question.
Yeah. So testing, it definitely can vary year to year, obviously, because you can have different, our weather can be completely different one year from the next year. We could have a warm summer versus a freezing cold, snowy summer, or winter is what I'm talking about. Oh, geez. So I think it is recommended if it's possible to, the best, most accurate way is to have a radon monitor in your home all 12 months out of the year to see what your yearly average is. That is something that right now with our number of monitors, we're not able to offer because of our demand. But that's something that if you were interested yourself and wanted to purchase a monitor, we'd be able to provide you where we got the monitors from through EcoSense, and I believe they're around $200 for a monitor. Yeah. That's something that you'd be able to purchase if someone was that interested in knowing their rate on that, for the full year.
And actually, EcoSense also has a coupon code for Protect PT members as well. So if you wanted to purchase an EcoSense monitor for your home to have it, all year round, you could, and we can provide you with a coupon code. So, and we have a question from Jackie, or I guess maybe a comment. She says, "Great presentation. Can you have more than one source of radon coming into your house?" Oh, that's a great question. And actually, Jackie is joining us. She is not only is she a Protect PT board member, but she also works with Citizens for Radioactive Radon Reduction. And we posted the link to their website on the presentation here. So definitely check out the great resources that they have because they're the experts. And luckily with our communication with Jackie and learning more about radon, we were able to get the grant to add this to our existing air monitoring program. But Chad, do you have an answer to that? Can you have more than one source of radon coming into your house? I think I know the answer.
I was going to say, I'm not entirely sure. So if you think you know, you can go ahead and answer.
So I know that it comes from the ground, but I also believe that it can come from water. So if you have a private water well and you have radon in your water, this can be actually particularly dangerous because radon, when it's aerosolized and heated, it can actually be breathed into the lungs and can cause more damage than just the gas present in the air. And Jackie, I don't know if that was the answer you were expecting, but do you have any other information? We are on Facebook Live, but feel free to come on camera and tell us if you have any other suggestions there, because I know that CR3 is the expert in radon.
Hi, this is Jackie. Unfortunately, my camera's not working, but you can hear me.
Yes.
I did post in there, excellent presentation. And my question was, could you have more than one source? Yes, you can. The building that I'm in is a condo building, and then when it was tested, they found 6 sources to this building. So we have 6 mitigation systems on this building, not saying that you have to have 6 on your house. But understand testing is very important, because when you're testing, other sources can be found. And like Jillian was saying and Chad was saying, it could be your water. It can come from different places, like if your house is slab on grade, or no matter what. I mean, it can come from different places, cracks in the foundation. So always keep in mind when you're talking about to your neighbor and they say, oh, well, I didn't find it. Well, that doesn't mean it's not in your home, because your home might have different cracks. It might have different foundation structure. So those types of testing are very important.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And I
Jackie.
I put the link again to CR3's website up in the presentation, so y'all can go to that website. And Jackie does a phenomenal job. She actually puts out a magazine all about radon awareness, and there is a really cool calendar you can get online to try to teach kids about radon. So some really wonderful resources from CR3, and so definitely check out their website. And we're really happy to be able to bring this program to residents here locally. And we do only have 11 monitors. So actually, during the winter months, January is Radon Awareness Month, and I had posed the question, does anyone know why? And I think a part of what Chad had gone over before, in cold months, you can actually see more radon. Plus, Chad was talking about having your house closed up. Typically in the winter, your windows aren't as open, and your doors aren't open as much to try to keep the heat in. So that can actually cause a buildup if you have radon, more of a buildup of radon. So I also think that if people wanted to test for more than one time a year, and we had the capability to do that, we certainly would allow you to test more than one time, right? Because just because you test once now, you could test down the road, next season if you'd like to. Typically with our monitoring programs, and we like to do tests in different seasons. For noise monitoring, for air monitoring, we test in different seasons. So it just makes sense to test for radon in different seasons as well. So there's a lot of different options for members especially. So definitely become a member of Protect BT. If radon is found, then you'll have discount on mitigation. If you're a member, you can also get a discount on a monitor. And I'm going to go ahead and pop the link again in the chat here. So just go to protectbt.org/membership to become a member or renew your membership. It is a yearly membership, and there's a lot of benefits to becoming a member. So Chad, did we have one more slide? Or
yes, we did, with our contact information here.
Awesome. And Mary, would you mind popping in the chat really quick? I know we just had it up on the screen, but we want to make sure that everyone is able to fill out our survey today. And we've been getting a ton of questions, right, Chad? I mean, we've had a lot of calls about radon so far.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time on the phone so far.
So we're
But hey,
hoping.
that's good though.
That's right. That's right. People have great questions, and so we're hoping that by providing this webinar, it can be a real staple to add to the program. Ooh, Darlene has another good question. Is there a way to test your well water for radon? Oh, that's a good question. I think so. And you know what? I bet our friend from Duquesne University, Dr. John Stoles, would have the perfect answer to that, Darlene. He would be a good person to ask. Jackie, do you have any advice on that?
That is a good question. I do know, yes, you can test your well, but how it's done, I'm not quite sure. You would have to talk to someone, that is a tester or a mitigator can actually talk to you about that.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and Jackie has hooked us up with some really wonderful resources. And I just want to mention too, thank you, Mary, for popping the link to the survey in the chat. Please fill out our event survey for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and also put it in the Facebook chat so people can, if you watch this on Facebook later, you can go ahead and fill out our survey. It does, even if you're not watching live, you can fill out our survey later. We want to make sure that folks are able to, we want your opinion. We want to know if we gave you accurate and good information that will help keep you and your family safe. And if you fill out our survey, I'm betting we could send you some stickers. We have some really cool stickers, our Clean Air for All sticker that we could send out to folks that fill out the survey as an incentive. So definitely fill it out. And if you want one of those stickers, all you have to do is contact Mary. Her email is actually up on the screen here, mary@protectpt.org, and she'll go ahead and send you out a sticker. Are there any other questions before we hop off tonight? Anyone in the audience have questions? Yes, Mary is happy to send stickers. Our stickers are very cool too. All right, so we have radon monitoring scheduled till out till November right now, Chad, correct?
Yeah, October is booked, and I'm starting to schedule into November right now.
Yeah. So if you're interested in testing for radon, contact Chad at protectpt.org, and you can schedule out. Members do get first pick of days. Again, being a member is a benefit. And we will be, keeping those schedules, and Chad will be contacting residents. And just because you just bought your home and tested for radon, does not mean that you don't have it present. You should still test again, because that is just one little snapshot in time that could be inaccurate, especially with weather changing and everything. And so I think one of the questions that I got when I was talking to folks on the phone that had called in after doing radon is, what do I do if I see the levels on the monitor go up? Chad, do you want to give some advice to folks that you've been talking to and when you get those type of phone calls?
Yeah, absolutely. Things I've said during setups of something is if you see a spike, maybe at night, maybe right after a rainstorm, something like that, that's not cause to panic. It's more of the long-term exposure of high radon levels that is what the risk is. A short-term, 5.0 spike or something like that in your basement is not something to, not something to hit the panic button over. For example, I had one testing in my basement just so I could be familiar with the monitor, and back during the hurricane that hit like Louisiana really hard and all that, my basement jumped above like 20 or 30, where it usually sits around 1.0. So, that's just one really bad event, and, a short-term exposure compared to a long-term, if your number's at, 10 or something, all day and all night, then that's when you need to take action.
Yeah. And so what if someone sees something like that where it spikes? What would you recommend them do?
So if they're concerned about the high levels, you can open your windows, turn on a fan, um, you know, get some airflow in the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because, on the one hand, we do want to get accurate data so we can guide you in the right direction about whether you need a mitigation system or not. But on the other hand, we don't want you to be exposed to radon gas unnecessarily. So there is a balance between getting accurate data and a concern about your health. So if you are concerned, the best thing to do is to mitigate if you're concerned about it. And I know that I had a couple calls about that. So definitely, and if you have questions, Chad's available to answer questions, and I will do my best if you get me after hours. I'll do my best to either answer the question, or if I don't know the answer, I'll refer you to Chad. And we have some wonderful folks, volunteers and connections with CR3. We also did a lunch and learn with CR3's physicist, Nate, who has been helping to guide us through this process. And actually Jackie is also on that lunch and learn. So you can go ahead and watch our lunch and learn on YouTube. And I'm betting Mary could pop that link in the chat on the back end, and we'll post it in the chat for y'all. So if you want to learn more about radon, more than the information we gave you tonight, we only spent, 30 to 40 minutes online tonight for a very serious and important topic. So if you want more information, it is out there, and we can connect you to folks that have that information if we don't have that information for you. So yeah, any parting words, Chad, before we hop off tonight?
Just one other thing I wanted to add. You touched on a bit about, if you recently bought your house, we're not certified testers in radon. So none of these readings that we get would be able to be used in any real estate transaction. So just an FYI there, this is for your own personal use, for your family's health.
That's right. That's a good distinction, Chad. Thank you very much. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And if you haven't already signed up for our Radon program, go ahead and sign up at protectpt.org. We've got tons of links and information. We have a Radon dedicated page where you can sign up right on our website. You can become a member on our website, and please also fill out our survey. And thanks so much for joining us tonight. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.